Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
And this morning we are talking about developing emotional muscle. So please let me know your name, where you from. Good morning to everybody. Morning from Orlando. Shout out to Orlando. Shout out to Disney World. I still need to get my trip to Disney World. You're an Aquarius too. Shout out to all the Aquariuses out there. Shout out to all the what's the sign we doing right now? What is it? I forget the name of it. It starts with a C, right? I think Capricorn. Is that the sign that we in right now? What's up? Checking in from the UK. What up to Brooklyn? Shout out to everybody in Brooklyn. My name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as DreAllDay. I come from Philadelphia. I live in South Florida. I'm an empowerment expert. I aim to empower as many people as possible over the next 100 years. I'm a professional speaker, professional athlete, author of 5 books, TEDx talker, coach and consultant. Background, played basketball overseas 9 years. I'm in South Florida now, and what I do is empower people through these Periscope streams, through 4,000, almost 5,000 YouTube videos, 4,000 blog posts. I got 3 books that will be coming out in the first quarter of 2016. I'm gonna talk about those in a separate stream, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after that. But this morning we're talking about developing emotional muscle, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm gonna give you the 3 steps you're gonna use to develop emotional muscle. Shout out to everybody watching this on replay. Y'all can tap the screen too as you watch. What's up, Diana, checking in from London. Number 1 step for you developing emotional muscle. First of all, let me talk about what emotional muscle is. And you're actually going to learn it as I go through these steps. But emotional muscle basically is the same way you go to the weight room and you lift weights in the gym so you get bigger muscles, you get stronger. The way you do it is by taxing your muscles. Basically, you lift weights, either an amount of weight that's heavier than you're used to lifting, or you lift the weight more times than you're used to lifting it, and that makes your muscles get stronger. Basically, you break the muscles down, they have to repair themselves stronger. That's how your muscles get stronger. It's the same thing with your emotions. The way that you develop your emotional muscle is by putting a little bit more load on your emotions than you're used to putting on them, more than this quote-unquote normal for you, more than you're used to doing, then that makes your emotions stronger. And I'm going to give you 3 steps to developing that emotional muscle, because no matter what you do in life, whether you're a school teacher, whether you're a garbage collector, whether you run your own business, whether you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, whether you're a basketball player, whether you're a student that's in 8th grade right now, if you're a stay-at-home mom, emotional muscle will help you do whatever you're doing better. And I'm going to, as I go through these 3 steps, you'll understand exactly what I mean. So the number 1 step to developing emotional muscle. What's up, Rich, checking in from Charlotte. Number 1 thing you need when it comes to developing emotional muscle is this: learn to make yourself do things when you don't feel like doing them. Another word for that is discipline, self-discipline. Making yourself do things when you don't feel like doing them. So you don't want this regular discipline, which means it's coming from something outside of yourself, because that doesn't help you develop emotional muscle. Like, how many of you have ever worked at a job where you didn't always feel like doing certain parts of the job, but when the boss said do this part of the job, you did it anyway? That didn't help you develop any emotional muscle, did it? No, because you were just doing it for the job. When I had my first job at Pizza Hut, the boss, his name was Brett. He might have told me something like, yo, Dre, you got to go clean off table number 27. I didn't really feel like doing it. And if it had been up to me, I wouldn't have did anything. But because the boss told me to do it, I did. That didn't help me develop any emotional muscle, because I was only doing it because I was being told. Now, when I get to the point as a man, when I went to the gym, go to the gym every single day to work on my game while I'm trying to get my next deal overseas, even when I didn't know where or when or if the next contract was coming, I was developing emotional muscle because I was making myself do it. Nobody was forcing me to do it. Nobody was checking on me. If I didn't show up to the gym any day for a week, nobody would know and nobody could say nothing to me. But guess what? I made myself do it. And through that, I developed the emotional muscle, also known as self-discipline. So number 1, make yourself do things when you don't feel like doing them. Number 2 step to developing emotional muscle, ladies and gentlemen, is this: learn to respond rather than react to negative situations and negative emotions. And sometimes people get confused. People come to me and they say, Dre, how do you stay positive mentally? How do you always stay, turned on? How do you always stay in a frame of mind where it seems like you never get down? You always seem you're always up. You have this positive energy all the time. How do you manage to do that all the time? It's not the fact that I have positive energy 1,000% of the day. Do situations ever happen in my day where I get annoyed with another person? Yes. Do situations happen where I get pissed off at something that somebody else says or does? Yes. Do situations ever happen where I want to react and sometimes I actually do react? Yes. The difference is between people who have developed a strong emotional muscle and people who haven't is very simple. People who have a strong emotional muscle learn to manage those feelings and learn to manage those reactions and learn to respond rather than react. The other difference between responding and reacting. Reacting is like if somebody walks by you and says something smart to you or looks at you the wrong way. When you react, you're like, yo, what the F you looking at? You want to go fight them? You want to smack them? You might get in a situation right there on the spot that might put you in a bad position. Even if you beat them up, that might make you look bad in front of the wrong person. To respond is when it's not that you completely ignore a situation. Like if somebody does something that you don't like, it's not that you ignore it and just let it go, but you learn to manage your emotions. So you don't let that negative emotion drive your actions, because any of you, I'm sure you know, if you yourself have had this or somebody you know, you ever seen somebody be driven just by their reactions, their emotions, a negative emotion? They usually do something rash that probably costs them in the long run. It might satisfy them in the short run, but it will cost you in the long run. So when you have a negative emotion, let's say something, your girlfriend or boyfriend says something to you that you don't like, you know you don't want to say the wrong thing at the right time, because that could hurt that relationship more in the long run than it will satisfy you in the short term. And that works in any relationship, a business relationship, a friendship, an intimate relationship. So learn to manage your negative emotions, which means learn to respond rather than react. Responding is much better than reacting. Number three, the number three thing you're going to do to manage your emotions, not manage your emotions, but develop emotional muscle is this. Learn to share your positive emotions and manage the negative emotions. So what does that mean? When you're feeling great, whenever you're feeling super energetic, you're feeling positive, good things are happening for you, you just got this overflow of joy and positive energy, find somebody to share that with. Because we all know something about energy, that is neither created nor destroyed. It's merely transferred from one object to another. And when you have positive energy, you don't lose any positive energy by sharing it with another person. So it's not like, what's the one thing I guess, it's not like money. Like if you had $100 in cash and you share $50 with your friend, now you don't have 100 anymore. You got 50 and they got 50. Emotion, positive energy is not like that. If you have 100, if you have a level of 100, let's say emotion was an amount that you could count like money, and you had 100 in positive emotion and you share 50 with your friend, you still got 100. Now your friend has 50, so now you just have more energy overall because you shared that energy with that person, but it doesn't cost you anything to give them some energy. It's kind of like if you have a candle. If you have a candle that's lit and then you use that candle to light another candle, you notice that the first one doesn't go out, right? Now you got two candles lit. It's the exact same thing with your positive energy. So when you have a flow of positive energy, find somebody to share that with. And on the other side, when you have some negative energy, learn to manage that, which means recognize in your mind that you're in a negative frame, or maybe something negative just happened, and you're going to take a deep breath, not react, because reacting in the long run most of the time will cost you more than it will earn you. So you learn to react, manage that negative emotion. And one thing you don't want to do with a negative emotion is share it with other people. Don't share your negative energy with other people. When you have positive energy, share that with somebody else. If you find yourself having negative energy, if you know somebody well enough, go find somebody who has a good positive energy and soak up a little bit of their positivity. You don't have to tell them all your negativity. Soak up some of their positivity. So let me recap the 3 steps to developing emotional muscle, ladies and gentlemen, this morning, January 13, 2016. This is Dre All Day. The 3 steps. Number 1, learn to make yourself do things when you don't feel like doing them, also known as self-discipline. So it's not doing things when you don't feel like doing it because somebody made you do it, or somebody told you to, or because somebody's looking over your shoulder. That's not the type of discipline I'm talking about. I'm talking about self-discipline, where you make yourself do things that you don't feel like doing. Number 2, learn to respond rather than react. So when something happens that you may see as negative, doesn't mean that you ignore it, doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, doesn't mean you cover your eyes and say, I didn't see it. No, it happened, but learn to respond to it rather than react to it, because reactions usually in the long run will cost you more than it will gain you. And number 3, when you have a positive emotion, share it with somebody else. If you have a negative emotion, learn to manage it, contain it, and focus on something positive so that you can get rid of that negative emotion as quickly as possible. It's also known as mental/emotional conditioning, which I've talked about in previous scopes, and I definitely will talk about again in a later scope. So ladies and gentlemen, just to recap who I am, for those of you who don't know, my name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre All Day. I got a website called DreAllDay.com. I am a professional speaker. Speak about social media, branding, marketing, confidence, discipline, belief, success, self-discipline especially. I am an author of 5 books. I got 10 books coming out in 2016. The first few in this first quarter of the year I will be announcing and telling y'all about very soon. Once I come up with the final titles for each one. I do coaching and consulting for businesses, business owners, and individuals, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, people needing self-discipline, athletes. My background is as a professional athlete, played basketball overseas for 9 years. I do a lot of videos on YouTube. I got 4,000 videos on YouTube talking basketball, branding, marketing, confidence, discipline, all the stuff I talk about here. I got 4,000 blog posts on my website. Again, it's called DreAllDay.com. I got maybe 300 or so live streams here on Periscope, but these go away after 24 hours. So a lot of these videos, almost every video actually that I do on Periscope is going to end up on YouTube. The video shot the long way. I'm figuring out how we're going to make that work. They're going to end up somewhere in some form that you're going to be able to consume this information. So it won't be gone forever. Trust me, I keep every single thing I record. I didn't get the 4,000 videos by throwing things away. And if any of you want to reach me, I'm on all your favorite social media channels. DreAllDay on Twitter, DreAllDay here. My Snapchat is Dre Baldwin. If you want to ask me a question directly and you like Snapchat, you can Snapchat me. Just send me a private snap at Dre Baldwin. If it's a video snap, you are much more likely to get a response than a text snap or a picture snap. If you are on Instagram, my name also there is Dre Baldwin. My first name, last name, no spaces, no special characters. And if you got any business inquiries, just want to ask me a question directly, you can also email me. My email address is dre@DreAllDay.com. What's up, Sam, Nita, Ola? Good morning to you. If anybody got any questions, go ahead and post your questions now. I'll take a question or two before we wrap up for this morning. This is DreAllDay again. DreAllDay.com is the website. If you want to read my first book, it's called Buy a Game. You can get it completely for free if you just go to my website, DreAllDay.com. When you get there, there's a pop-up that will come up on the screen that says get my first book for free, like I just said. Put in your name, email address. We'll send you that book within an hour or two. Via email, you'll be able to read that PDF, Buy a Game, completely for free. And even though you read it, PDF version for free, you can still go to Amazon and leave a review on that book. And that's at DreAllDay.com/Amazon, where you can see all of my books. The Mental Handbook, The Mirror Motivation, The Super You, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. And if you happen to be a basketball player, I got over 150 training programs available. Some are on Amazon, but you can see all of them in detail on my training website called hoophandbook.com. All right, I don't see any questions, so we're wrapping up for this morning. Y'all have a fantastic day. And if you're watching the replay, please tap the screen for the hearts. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game.